The Minos X5 and Revenger S are Cougar's announcement that they're entering the top mouse market. They've listened to community feedback and made some great changes. I'm still not a big fan of the Minos shape, but at least the quality is there. However, in my opinion, the Revenger S is a better version of the Revenger, so it's definitely worth a look. Both mice are using the same materials, with a rubberized pattern on both sides, and a smooth plastic on top. They feel like they're good quality, and fairly comfortable. Although I do prefer smoother grips without the pattern. Just a quick tour of the Minos X5 though, it has an inverse design, with the front being wide up top, thinner at the base, and the back being wider at the base, thinner at the top. The back is the part that I don't really like. With the flared out edges, it forces my fingers into position. I wouldn't call this a safe shape for that reason. I also don't like having a deep curve on both sides. I think this shape makes more sense for 3 fingers on top. It's actually quite comfortable that way. Next to the Minos X3, you can see it's basically the same, but they've made the buttons separate from the shell, added some extra lines, changed the DPI button and wheel, added the new LED logo, but removed the base LED, and there are no longer controls on the base. It's all done in software now. For measurements, it's about 5.8cm at the fingers, and 11.8cm in length. It has a gradual slope on the buttons, and the hump is about 3.8cm high in the center. For hand size, I think this could work for palm grip, 17 to 19.5cm, claw grip 16 to 20, and fingertip 17 to 20. Ideally, you'd want 3 fingers on top, and with the hand 19 by 9.5cm. The Revenger S has a more standard and much better design in my opinion. It sort of resembles the old Microsoft mice, with an ergonomic right hand design. They've made some really good improvements since the Revenger though, like the thumb curve no longer curves out at the base, which caused the mouse to be a little bit slippery. It's hard to show on camera, but the thumb can grip much better now, and it still has a vertical curve toward the top, which is really good for picking it up. They removed the DPI lights, and reduced the size of the side buttons. That gives more room for the thumb, and makes them easier to press in. They're in much better shape now. They removed the fangs at the front, which could sometimes cause an issue. And the cable is still on the left, but I didn't notice an imbalance. On top, the buttons are now separate from the shell, and have some slight comfort grooves in them, which is a big improvement. The DPI button is now just a button, which is much easier to press in than the trigger of the original. On the right, it curves out at the back a little, but the curves are comfortable and good for grip. At the fingers, it's about 5.8cm wide, and about 12.6cm long. Again, the button slope is gradual, and the hump is about 4cm high in the middle. I'd say this could suit palm grip up to 19cm, claw grip 16 to 20, and fingertip between 18 and 21. To compare the sizes, here they are next to the G703 and Revenger. The difference might be subtle, but it's definitely noticeable in hand. They're both using a 3360, which is pretty much the top optical sensor at the moment. Just to quickly confirm, they're great in rocket jumping, and I can't make them spin out, not even with the tilt slam test where I hold the mouse on its side and slam it down. Zooming in, they track pixel by pixel, and do it smoothly, no problem snipering with these mice. There's no acceleration that I can find, and no delay that I can tell either. The lift-off distance is about 1 DVD on soft and hard pads, but that can be changed in software to 2 DVDs. In the line test, testing against the Logitech G703, they perform basically the same. Very happy with the sensor, glad it's in so many mice now. As for the buttons, here is a listen to the clicks. So left and right are Omron switches at 50 million clicks, and on the Minos, they're fairly light. They're a little tougher on the Revenger S, but this Revenger seems to have an issue with the buttons being a bit loose. I can make them rattle a little. That may just be my copy, but that is a quality concern for now. Not a big one, it was still good in game. Mouse 3 is quite hard to press in on the Minos, which isn't good for the 3 fingers on top grip, but the wheel is smooth as well as having some decent tension on the step. It's easy to press in on the Revenger, which is also smooth with some decent tension. The side buttons have a bit too much travel on both, but they feel quite good with a nice click. Doesn't feel cheap like some. And the DPI can get in the way at times, but they're fine. In the latency testing, the results seem very similar to the G903 and G703, so no issue there. For the build, when tapping and shaking them, the wheel and buttons are a tiny bit loose on the Minos X5. And they're even looser on my Revenger S. Again, that could just be my copies. I'll just caution Cougar to take care of build quality in the future, but if you're looking at these mice, check the comments to see if others have had the issues. Also check Amazon reviews. The mouse feet are large but glide well, and they also give you a replacement set in the box, along with some stickers. The cables are 1.8 meters and smooth rubber, but they're not too flexible. They're usable and didn't give me any issues in a mouse bungee, but it's something that could be worked on. As for the weights, the Revenger S is about 96, and the Minos X5 91 grams, which is really good for this size mouse with all their features and quality materials, and they're both fairly well balanced. In the software, both of these mice have the same functionality, which is quite good. You can set profiles, and they give you some management options, and they have onboard memory, so you only have to set it up once. In performance, the DPI goes from 100 to 12,000, in steps of 100. DPI sniper setting here, and you'll see that these mice are capable of 2000 Hz polling rate. I honestly couldn't tell the difference between 500, 1000 and 2000, and I did a fair bit of testing too, so I'm just going to leave it at 1000, and there's surface tuning with the lift-off distance here. In key assignment, you can alter everything, even the wheel, and it has a good amount of features, including macro with an editor that picks up on everything you do, again even wheel movements. Then you can edit those too. Lastly, we have lighting control. The original Revenger has some of the coolest lighting I've ever seen on a mouse. However, for some reason on the current software, it has bands of white going through it, as seen in this video here. The original Revenger is on the left with the strong colour all the way through, so once they fix that on the new mice, they should be awesome. If I could only own one mouse, as good as the Minos X5 is, I don't think I'd want it because of the shape. If it didn't have that inverted style with the flared out back, then I'd want it instead of the Revenger. But the new Revenger is outstanding. While the original Revenger was really good, this has gone to the next level, and that's why it's going to get a top 10 award. Despite the few quality concerns on mine, it has almost everything right. Shape, weight, sensor, buttons, quality, features. It's a mouse you can be happy to own, and even better, play really well with it too. I've enjoyed using it a lot, and even said on stream multiple times that I really liked it, so that's the one I'd want to buy personally, if it suited my hand size. To conclude, I'm so happy to see Cougar take advice from the community, and make such good mice. If they continue with this, once they get the right shapes and quality concerns sorted, I'm sure they'll be a contender for the best mice. They're not perfect, no mouse is, but they're getting there. So, in short, they're great mice with almost everything right, and I hope to see further improvements on the next. Big thanks to Cougar for sending these out for review, and if you want to help support the channel, I'll leave some links in the description. Subscribe, like and share this video, and I'll catch you in the next.